So, hi everyone, my name is Kelly Kimball and I am officially a second year medical student as of May. I wrapped up my first year and I started an Instagram account kind of just for fun, I guess, and it kind of grew a lot faster than I thought, and a lot of people were really liking the Instagram videos that I was posting. So they kept telling me to just make a YouTube channel, so here you go. I personally don't consider myself that interesting of a person, so I don't know how these are gonna turn out, but you asked for it, and so I'm trying it, and it's quite possible that I will stop. But for now, I'm just going to dive right into it, and hopefully you like this video. I just figured I would kind of start by introducing myself and talking about my pre-med journey, and then maybe in other videos I can dive more into skincare and makeup and reviews and stuff like that, things that I tend to talk about most on my Instagram page. So yeah, so I go to school at Northeast Ohio Medical University in Rootstown, Ohio. I know it sounds like a very fun place to be, but it's a really great school actually, and I kind of applied to it on a whim. And I apologize when I talk. I tend to like pick things up and use my hands, so I have a hair clip right here, so that's probably what I'm gonna be using right now, so just bear with me. But anyways, so yeah, I kind of applied to it on a whim. I didn't really know a whole lot about it. I was just kind of casting a wide net of places to apply to, and when I got the secondary application for Neomed, I was like, oh yeah, I applied here, okay. Might as well, you know, submit a secondary application. And you know, I kind of knew a little bit about it because I was born in Ohio, Northern Ohio, so I kind of knew about it. But you know, certainly I saw the statistics about how, you know, they only accept like 2% out of state or whatever they were at the time. And so I was like, do I really stand a chance? Should I do it? I don't know, but I did. And I'm very glad that I did, because that's where I ended up, and it turned out to be a great fit. So that's a little bit about where I am now. So how did I get there? Well, it's kind of a long story, and that's why I figured I'd make a YouTube video about it. But basically, I kind of knew that I wanted to be a doctor in high school. I mean, I wasn't kind of set on being a doctor, I guess, per se. I just kind of was interested in healthcare in general, and I was taking anatomy in high school at a community college, and I really liked it, and I thought, wow, like I could really see myself doing something like that, you know. And I did really well in it. My teacher at the school kind of like took me aside and was like, maybe you should consider going to medical school. And I was like, oh, maybe, I don't know. And I actually ended up my senior year of high school doing an internship at a hospital close by, and it was basically just kind of half in the classroom, half in the hospital. And in the classroom, you just basically learned about how the hospital works and the different types of healthcare providers and different medical terminology and basic things like that. And the part of the week that you were in the hospital, you were shadowing different professions, and it was a really great way to kind of allow people who might not necessarily have family members in the medical field to get exposed to it. And that's certainly what it was for me. No one in my family growing up was a doctor or in the medical field, so I didn't really know anything. So this internship was a great opportunity for me to kind of like learn about all of the different roles inside of a clinic in a hospital, and to kind of even learn what it would be or what going to medical school would involve, because I really didn't know at the time. And I remember kind of being really interested throughout the whole thing, but what really kind of made me want to go into undergrad fully dedicated to being pre-med was I was shadowing an anesthesiologist one day, and it was me and two students, and it was me and this other guy in my class, and we were shadowing the anesthesiologist, and he was like a typical, I hate to say typical because it kind of frames like medical professionals poorly, and that's something I'm definitely not about. But when you think of like a typical surgeon or a typical anesthesiologist, you kind of imagine someone who's like, you know, very confident and very, you know, they are very confident in themselves and a little bit arrogant, and that's definitely what he was. And so he was also very sexist, and he would continually ignore my questions and statements throughout the time that we were shadowing him, and he would only ever talk with the other student I was with, who was a guy. And I was getting really frustrated because I was trying to ask questions and learn, and the other guy I was with was more or less small talking with him. So I felt really cheated out of that experience. And I remember towards the end of the shadowing experience, he kind of made a comment like, oh, why would you want to go to medical school? Like, why would you want to spend all of your good years there, you know, talking to me? And I was like, I didn't really know what to say, you know, as a high schooler, like a meek 17-year-old girl, like what was I supposed to say? So I didn't really say anything, and I was kind of like, haha, yeah, maybe you're right, I don't know. But that really drove me to actually pursue it and go into my first year of undergrad declared as a pre-med major. And I think that's probably the first experience that I remember, and certainly not the last, unfortunately, where I was viewed differently in the medical field because I was a woman. And I know that still holds true today, and that's a whole nother video that I'm not going to get into. But I would say that's probably what kind of initially sparked my interest to pursue a pre-med route in undergrad. So with that fire lit underneath me, I started undergraduate as I think physiology major at a big university, and I was pre-med. I took all the pre-med classes. I was involved with the pre-med club, and you know, I was really hoping to be able to do that because I was really passionate about it. And then a lot of things happened that year that I'm not going to get into, but essentially I had a really horrible first year experience. So when I got to the end of my freshman year of college, I was just kind of like, maybe I'm not cut out for college. Definitely not even cut out for medicine. So I had pretty much thrown that idea out the window. I kind of said I had a nice run. I did really terrible in undergrad, and you know, I have all these other things going on. I need to take a break from school. So I did, and that's probably the most unique part of my story as a medical student, I would say, in that it wasn't a very traditional path. It was kind of like very windy. So yeah, so I ended my freshman year of college, and I just decided to drop out because I was like, you know, maybe this isn't for me. Like, I was really discouraged. I did horribly, barely passed. So I was just like, maybe I'll pursue another interest of mine that I had always had, and I still always will have, which is makeup artistry and skincare. And so I decided, with all of the money that I didn't have, that I would move across the country to Oregon and pursue a career as a makeup artist. And that was probably the hardest, definitely it was the hardest decision I've ever had to make. It came with more sacrifices than I could even like write out or spell out to you, but I think it was also the smartest move for me personally, and I grew into a completely different person due to that experience. And that was something that I kind of based my personal statement around, and like all of the growth that I did during my time off and all the things I discovered about the world and about myself, pursuing a career that was so different from anything science related or medicine related. And so yeah, that was my life for a while, and it was different, but I don't regret a thing. And then once I had been working in my job, which was for a company at the time called Dior, I thought about making a career out of it and ultimately, you know, going back to school, getting a degree in chemistry or biochemistry and working in a lab for, you know, developing skincare and makeup. And I thought that would be, you know, a perfect way to blend two things that I really liked, which were science and the world of cosmetics. But like I mentioned, I did a lot of growing and reflecting in my time off, and I ultimately came to the realization that medicine was my true passion, and nothing else that I could do would fulfill that spot for me. And so that's when I made the decision to go back to school out in Oregon. And I went to school, a very small one, very small college, and I was able to boost my GPA up to a 4.0, and I worked really hard. I did a lot of research, I did a lot of service hours, I studied really hard for the MCAT, and moral of the story is graduated cum laude, magna cum laude, whatever. I don't know what the honors are anymore, I forget. Graduated top of my class, and I went to medical school. And so I think, you know, I say all of those things not to brag about myself. Anyone who knows me knows that I hate talking about myself, so the whole concept of this video is kind of cringy and gives me anxiety. But I just say that because I think that what defines your application to medical school or graduate school or whatever school is so much more than just numbers, you know. And I think it has so much to do with experiences and who you are as a person, and being able to convey that in the application, the interview, etc. So I just say all of that to let you know that even if you are struggling in any area of your life and you think that any goal you have is impossible because of the struggles you're going through, it is not. I promise you, it's not impossible. And you ultimately can do whatever you set your mind out to do. And I know that's horrendously cliche, but it's true. And I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't. So yeah, that's just a little bit of me and my story, and about how I ended up being a second-year medical student in the middle of rural Ohio, and happiest I've ever been in my life. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to leave a comment, or you can go to my Instagram and message me there. But I love talking to people, and I love helping. I love helping people try to get to where they're going, no matter if it's medical school or to a different job or, you know, whatever. Like, any way I can be of help, I really like to be. So, yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I guess we'll see if I make another one.